Hey friends, here I am back in my studio today with a 36 by 24 canvas, and it's gallery wrapped, level 3 from Michaels. And these are the colors I'm going to be using today. I'm going to do another Colander Pour. Starting down here with the red, it is Deco Arts Festive Red. And then I have next to that this beautiful sort of turquoisey color is Peacock Pearl. And then I have Ice Blue, again by Deco Art Dazzling Metallics. And we're gonna go with some Citron Green today. There you have it. Now the white is just Artist Loft Soft Body White, and the black is Artist Loft Soft Body Black, and it is from a date of last June, 6/22. So I'm gonna prep the edges and the corners with some black paint because these paints are thin and I don't want the white canvas to show through. So this way it kind of hides that. And it also allows the paint to stick a little bit better to the edges and corners. Okay guys, hold on. Let me clean up my paint down here, move everything out of the way, and then we'll get started. Okay friends, here we are. I have primed the edges and the corners. And let's get started with my colander here. Again, I like to start with white on the bottom just to help the colors sort of brighten up, since I do use black as a dump paint. So here we go. We start with the Citron Green, put a little bit in there. Then I put the sort of turquoise Peacock Pearl, since it's sort of on the blue scale. I thought it would look nice against that Citron Green. And then we go for the Ice Blue on top of that. I think I used about half a cup there. And then I wanted to use sort of that reddish color. I only had like 4-ounce cup of that in between. Then I put the turquoise Peacock Pearl back in there. And as you can see, I just keep layering and layering and layering. Now, Citron Green has been notorious in my pours of taking over, or at least showing itself very beautifully. Again, I put the rest of the white in there, and then top it off with the blue. I'm stirring up my black paint. It's been sitting for a few minutes. I just want to make sure it's all stirred up and the consistency is right. Sometimes I have to add a little extra water, but today it looked pretty good. Slowly lift it up. Trying to get as much out as I can. Kind of pretty. Okay, here we go. So I usually pour my black paint a little off center, only because, I have a routine, which maybe, hey, sometime maybe I should shake it up. Instead of pouring to the lower left corner in front of you, I should try a different corner. It's just the way I pour. There's no rhyme or reason. You can do it any way you want. In some of my previous pours and some older videos, I would literally kind of like throw down the black paint and not pour it so methodically. And when I do that, I have sort of a different shape for the negative space. It's not as symmetrical or round. So here I am just sort of tapping it around a little bit, drying my hands off. You can see in the reflection, and drying off my stir stick. It slowly starts to develop. And again, I'm just kind of rubbing the edges and corners, getting any of the drips off, making sure that my edges and corners are actually covered. I will go around to the other side in a few minutes, but I wanted to pop some of the bubbles to get it moving. You can see it starting to fill in sort of in the center there. And you'll see in a moment with the time lapse how quickly it does fill in. So at first, when I was looking at this, I was thinking, wow, these colors, it looks kind of muted. What you can't see is the detail in the cells as they're starting to form. Maybe one of these days, if I'm more advanced, I can get a camera up close as it's actually doing this part so you can see the progression. Again, popping, popping, popping all the bubbles with my culinary torch. There we go. So it really filled in kind of quickly there. And yeah, I hope you like it. Okay, guys, stay tuned for the walkthrough. Hey folks, it's Dwight. I'm back in my studio. This has been about an hour. Wow, beautiful. So I did a pour yesterday. I did a video short on my YouTube channel. I used the same colors, but what happened is when it dried, the one certain section, like up in this part of the canvas, it was deformed or something. So it sort of puddled and it pulled some of the cells, and so it really just sort of ruined it. So I thought I'd go ahead and use the same colors today. I think I poured them in a little bit different order, but I'm really happy that I did. The white looks really beautiful. You can see the citron green, the blue, and hints of the sort of the reddish color, which was actually, what was that? That was festive red and a little bit of copper mixed together. So I'll move in and show you some of the details. I'm pretty sure it's done moving. I know it looks like a lot's going on here, but I'm hoping the negative space stays as it is. Some of these cells are a little bit big and stretched, but I think if they stay as they are, I think it'll be just fine. If not, I can do little touch-ups on there and you would never know the difference. Yeah, so I don't want to drop my camera here. So you can see in the blue, well, it's not focusing. There we go. You can see some of the red. And also you can tell the edges are drying. I don't know if you can see down here, but the paint is receding, which means it's drying. Beautiful, 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 all the way through. So, you know, because the paint's acting kind of wonky recently, some of these pours are a little bit different than my old dump and swirls, but I actually like it because I think it has more interest and a better use of color. So I'm going to let this dry overnight and I will show you a quick walkthrough. And if I have to do any touch-ups, I'll maybe do that on a quick, you know, a quick reel so you can see that. All I do is take my little paintbrush and I either clean up if they get too long, elongated. I might just clean up with black to make them more rounded. And if they lose some of the white, then I'll just put a little bit of dots of white in there. It just kind of pulls your eye towards the center. So I'll show you the one I did the other day, cotton candy. It's all dry, and I did go in around the center. You can see the dots, and I did highlight some of the cells. I didn't want to do too many because there's so much color in here. So I did just a few, and I think it just kind of pulls your eye in. It kind of defines the composition. Yeah. Okie doke, my friends. Thanks so much, and stay tuned for the next segment, and I will hopefully, fingers crossed, have a great result. Hey friends, it's Dwight. I'm back. So this is the next day. I think it's pretty much dry. I have to double check in a moment here. But I wanted to show you what I'm going to go in and do. So the color stayed great. I know it looks maybe a little, oh, the right word, washed out. That's only because the light is being shown directly on top. And so it doesn't allow for the real colors to show themselves as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to just, I don't know, clean up some of this around in here. And I'm not going to take them out, but I will take some black paint and maybe just trim them down a little bit through here and around here. I'm not real sure. And then I'm going to go in, I'm going to dot the centers. Some of these were white before, a little bit of citron green, as you can see over here. And just to make the periphery around the negative space stand out some more. Now this little gem right here showed up overnight. It wasn't there when I left the room last night. But other than that, this is going to varnish really well, just because of all the color, and there's some metallics in there. So what I'm going to do in just a few moments is I am going to set up my camera. I'm going to do it on time-lapse, so you can watch me just fill this in, and then we'll do a final walkthrough. Okay, guys, stay tuned. Okay guys, here I am with the final results. I don't know if you could tell during the video, I went into some black and I trimmed some of these elongated cells down a little bit, but I didn't want to take too much away from it because I just felt like, I don't know, I just didn't want to do that. So I'll show you from a distance, you can see it kind of pulls your eye into the negative space, and I love that. So sort of up close here, I used some Citron green and white around the peripheral up on this edge, and mostly white in the middle. And I don't know what you would think if you saw this without knowing what I did, but I still think it turned out pretty nice. And again, once it's varnished, I think it'll be beautiful. So guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can feel free to email me at dwightpours@yahoo.com, or you can send me a question in the notes below. Do my best to get back to you as quickly as possible. Now, I just wanted to say, when I do go in and sort of highlight those cells in the middle there, I usually try to use the same color that there was previously. So if you looked at the wet painting, you can see there's a lot of white right through here. And I didn't want to overdo it, but I didn't want it to be sort of washed out. So I just took my paintbrush and just dotted in there. Okay, guys, thanks so much. You have a great start to your week.